Hello there, international movie fans, and welcome to another episode of What to Watch. In What to Watch, we take a look at everything that's coming to streaming services, cinema, and all those kind of things, and then we select some of the things that we think might be interesting watching, and we tell you what we know so far about them. We do this each month, so if you want to stay updated on all that, don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you're not subscribed yet. And give us a little like if you liked it once you saw a bit of this video. Then we will now get into this what to watch this March. We're gonna do it a bit different than we did it last time. All three of us selected two topics that we think might be worth watching, that we think those are interesting. We gotta present these to each other, and in the end we select one that we will all three of us watch this month. Right?
I'm ready.
Good, Sven, then I'm right away gonna kick it off with you. I'm gonna give you the stage, and then you may present, to start with, first your first pick for March.
Ja, waar zal ik beginnen?
Alright, I want to kick it off with something from my own hometown. Yo, represent Amsterdam. It started really small, and it's a group of women who believed in their purpose and are conquering the world right now. It started as an independent collective. The Netflix giants now also discovered them. And the topic and their aim is inclusiveness of all gender identities and giving a stage and platform to queer people. I'm gonna talk about Anne Plus. What's it about? Anne Plus is a drama series about the love life of Anne, 20-something lesbian living in Amsterdam, and in each episode we learn more about Anne and her past and her present, love interests as well as her friends, family and colleagues. The focus is always on Anne Plus, someone in her life. Anne Plus is a light series about identity, relationships and finding your place in the world. It was initiated because of the lack of positive queer representation in film and television. Who is involved? The Anne Plus team is composed of mostly female queer filmmakers who feel personally connected to the series and want to make a difference. Some names I want to point out. One of them is Maud Wiemeyer, the creator and who wrote the first season. Throughout the years, she has become more and more aware of the white heteronormative standard in films and television, and she wants to change that. Her writing style is realistic, layered, and no nonsense. Maybe how we know the Dutch a bit. Hanna van Vliet is, besides acting, Anne Plus, the main character, also contributing as a co-creator. She got nominated for her role for a Golden Calf in the Netherlands. It's the Netherlands Film Festival for Best Actress in this drama series. In the season 2, they're starring an international name, Lara Gomez. She's known for her role as Blanca Flores in the Netflix hit series Orange is the New Black. When is it going to be released? Season 1 and 2 are now on Netflix Netherlands and Belgium. They were already broadcasted on digital and TV platforms in the Netherlands. Season 1 counts 6 episodes of 10 minutes, if I'm not right or wrong. Season 2 counts 8 episodes of 25 minutes. And there's coming a German remake. They're producing now, or they're starting to produce now, a German remake of this series. The latest news is that they also will start to make a feature film.
Verliefdheid kan je gewoon altijd overvallen. Yes, leuk vooruitzicht.
Alright. I mean, it's so far only in the Netherlands and Belgium on Netflix, so it can't be seen for our international viewers. They have to wait a bit longer on it.
Yeah, but if I see how fast it's going, they started like from an online platform, then they went to public television. Now they're going to Netflix, so I think the next step is, European or worldwide.
Oh yeah, if Netflix already has the rights to it, at least in the Netherlands and Belgium, you might expect, if it's popular, that they expand it also to other countries, you would think. Sounds interesting. Your first pick. Let's right away move on to your second one, Sven, and then we will choose which one we will all three watch this month.
The best kept secret about Audrey was that she wanted to be loved.
I'm gonna talk about the documentary Audrey, More Than an Icon, about the life beyond the glamour and fame of former actress, dancer and humanitarian Audrey Hepburn. Why do I think this is interesting to watch? The story of Audrey Hepburn is fascinating many people with different interests because her life had so many different stories to tell. Of course, we all know her as a film icon. My favorite movie, which meant a lot to me, was Breakfast at Tiffany's. We also know she was a style icon for many women, an example of perfection. But her life was far from perfect, we might say. She spoke 6 languages, which was a result for her multicultural roots and upbringing. She became a true global citizen with a forever empathy for starving children. I'm personally always fascinated that she grew up here in the Netherlands, where she experienced also the Second World War. Here at home we have this book, written by her son Luca Dotti, Audrey at Home. It's a cooking book, and that sounds maybe a bit silly, but it isn't. There's a deeper layer under it, because Audrey suffered as a young kid from a rather high degree of malnutrition when the war ended. Well, what's it about? The film focuses more on the star's life beyond the camera, which I'm really interested in. The person beyond, especially in this case. It tells a story from Hepburn's life, beginning with her hard-knock youth in the Netherlands during the Second World War. She lived in the region of Arnhem that became infamous about a strategic and heavy clash between the Allies and Nazi Germany. She lived in that period with her mother after her father, a strong supporter of the fascist movement, abandoned the family when Hepburn was 6, an event from which she never seemed to be recovered. And as a child, she danced in underground theater performances to, so it's been told, raise money for the resistance. The film then moves through Hepburn's early adulthood in London, where she stunted ballet education. Another consequence of the war meant she was far behind her peers and would not realize her prima ballerina dreams. Unfortunately for Audrey, but she was destined for the stage, of course, and her chance discovery that took place in Monte Carlo led to cast Hepburn in the West End's production of Gigi, and then her actress career started. Well, who is involved in this documentary? The director is Elena Koen, a London-based film director. Contributions are from her son Sean Hepburn Ferrer and granddaughter Emma Ferrer. When is the film going to be released? Well, the documentary was already released on December 15th last year, 2020, but it's coming on Netflix US on March 14th, 2021.
It was certainly revolutionary.
When I love unconditionally.
Interesting, sounds interesting as well, Sven. I only saw Breakfast at Tiffany's. I think that's the only movie I saw with her in it. But I loved that movie, and she really, everything about her shines through in that.
Do you guys know who the other actor is? The other main actor in the movie?
I knew, but help me here.
He was really famous in the time. Was he not Hannibal Lecter?
He's Hannibal from the A-Team. Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
So funny to see him in the younger days, yeah. Yeah, it's nice. Yeah.
That's funny. You also saw Breakfast at Tiffany's, Koen?
Yeah, and I love the movie, and I've been to that Tiffany's in New York twice. So
You had breakfast.
No, I tried to look at drinks, and then I was surprised they let me in, because I looked like I couldn't afford one, but they were okay. But, no, and I was surprised to see this actor. I was like, I recognize his face, but
yeah. All right. So we're gonna take a pick now. Koen and I are gonna decide which one. It can, of course, be that it will be equal, that we both pick another one. Then it's up to you, Sven. Then you have to find a vote which one you think we should all three of us watch. Of course, you are still allowed to watch the other one also, but which one you think we should discuss at least later on this channel. Koen, may I start it with you? Will it be Anne plus or will it be Audrey more than an icon?
Can I still influence you guys?
I already know my answer.
Okay, tell it.
I will say Audrey.
Audrey, yes.
Yeah.
All right, you say Audrey. I also was quite clear about this. I'm also most interested in Audrey, a documentary about the life of Audrey Hepburn. That very much interests me.
Iconic,
also with our Dutch background, of course. It's also interesting to... I have already been a bit Wikipediaing after Breakfast of Tiffany's, reading a bit into her life story. So I find it interesting to see more in the documentary. Sven, would it also have been your pick, or...
Yes, to be honest, yes. Although, of course, I would love to see the other one as well, Anne Plus. So, regardless to that, I'm just more, fascinated, been for a long period about the story of Audrey Hepburn. And preparing this pitch, I also got to know more and more about her life. We have this book, so I'm really curious about this documentary, what they could add to her story.
Thank you, Sven. I'm going to give the stage now to Koen. Koen, you may kick it off with your first pick.
Formula One is open for business again.
Good morning.
2 meters this year, though. You've got to keep your distance.
The height is there, the hope.
So, what do I think you should watch in the month of March? Well, for me, it's really simple because March is always the start of the new season of Formula One. That's the reason why you should watch third season of the Netflix show called Drive to Survive. Of course, it's British made, but it has a bit of the American influence by the title, of course, Drive to Survive. But this is the first season that actually it has an impact. I won't give the spoiler away, but something happens in the season that actually has to do with the title, so it's very interesting. What is the show about? The show is very simple. It follows the 10 Formula One teams throughout the whole season. Yeah, the season is about this very dramatic, chaotic season. They couldn't race all over the world, so they had to postpone the start of the season, literally the moment before they were supposed to put the cars on the grid because of Corona. There was a team that had 2 positive tests, so they had to cancel the whole event. Imagine millions of dollars spent for nothing. And they had to do all the races in Europe. And it means for the first time in, I think, ever in Formula One history, they did back-to-back races, which means every weekend there was a race. And they even did 2 or 3 races where they did 2 weekends on the same track. And they even changed the layout of the track. So it's very interesting. And for people that like to play Formula One games on the PlayStation or whatever, it's very fun to watch because everything is different than you're used to, so it's a very new thing. They will show each team, the main characters are always the team boss, which are for some teams are very interesting characters, the 2 top drivers, and all the media attention and everything that has to be combined. The main characters you will see, I think in this season, of course, is the 7-time world champion Lewis Hamilton, and rightfully so. Besides that, you will see Daniel Ricciardo, which is a show star. You will see the big upcoming Dutch, soon-to-be legend, hopefully. It's a nice show to watch when you're not a big Formula One fan because it gives you a bit of an insight to things you really don't know. It's easy to watch. They don't go into a lot of technical details with the cars and everything, so it's not boring for people to watch. For the true diehard F1 fans, it's just a nice warm-up for the season because it's not that in-depth. Season is coming on March 19th on Netflix. We have already the teaser up on our channel. You can watch. This will be my pick to watch for this March.
Kicking some ass.
All right, Koen, your first pick for March,
yeah.
Drive to Survive Season 3. Question is, Koen, if we haven't seen Season 1 and 2 of Drive to Survive, like normally with a series, you can't get into Season 3, but you can with this one?
Yeah, you can, because it is nice to see, there are some team bosses that are very funny and weird that you don't know about. There's one guy called, his name is also like pretty epic, Gunther Steiner. He's the team boss of the American-based Haas F1 team. He says everything he thinks and a lot of bad stuff. And his team is in a lot of trouble always with the drivers. One of his drivers has something that has to do with Drive to Survive happening this season. So for him, he's funny. If you like this season, go back. But you don't have to watch the other 2 to like this one. No, you didn't miss anything. Yeah.
Okay, all right. Well, that's the first one we take into the mix. Let's go to the second one. Koen, I'm going to give you the stage again.
It's a good life that I provide here. I've been good to you. And you understand why it's hard for me to accept that you just want to leave.
The Netflix show combined partnered with BBC One, The Serpent. The Serpent is a limited series already released in January, I believe, on BBC One. And so if you have a BBC One account, go and watch it. If not, you have to wait till 2nd of April. It will be released on Netflix. It's a limited series and it's based on the true story, the twisting, exciting real life story of Charles Sobrach. He's a murderer, thief, and seductive master of disguise who was hidden in darkness in the mid-70s on an Asia's hippie trail. The French Vietnamese serial killer Charles Sobrach has many nicknames. One is the Bikini Killer, because of the attire his victims wore, and another is the Serpent, which of course has to do with the show name, due to his ability to deceive the authorities and slither out of the law's clutches. For me, very interesting to watch. The main reason is because it stars Tahar Rahim, which is for me very famous because he plays one of the leading roles in The Looming Tower. It's one of the, maybe in my opinion, the best CIA FBI thriller ever made. Tahar Rahim stood out for me there. He plays the guy that actually could have stopped 9/11. Very interesting, very good actor. And to see him now in his own leading show, especially one that is about a criminal that has to deceive and everything, I think his skills will very come out. Besides that, we will see Billy Howell, which is not really famous yet, but he plays in a lot of famous movies. Dunkirk, Rise of Skywalker. And Jenna Coleman, also famous for a lot of famous movies, but not that famous yet. So 2 young actors, I think, that can also really show what they have in this show. The main reason I think you should watch this is limited series made by BBC are just a bit like HBO. They're always very good and high in quality. I would go and watch it for Taha Rahim. I would say, like, after we saw maybe like Narcos and those kind of shows, this maybe is the new exotic thriller coming on Netflix. So I would check it out April 2nd. Go and see it.
I expected to feel great guilt. I did not. I felt free.
April 2nd coming to Netflix. Koen, it was already on BBC.
Yeah, BBC One. Yeah.
Have you heard anything about reviews that came from the UK?
Yeah, the strange thing is I did research yesterday, and everywhere it says, also in the Dutch media, that it's a very good show. And then I went on the first review on Rotten Tomatoes, it gets 5.7. I was like, huh? That's very strange. So the reviews are from the newspapers, The Guardian, The Times. The Dutch ones are all very, very, like 4 out of 5 stars, 4.5 out of 5 stars. And they also acclaim his acting work of Tahir Rahim, so I'm very curious. Yeah.
But okay, let's take a pick now. Koen, which one we will all 3 watch this month and for sure discuss? Maybe you want to dig into the other ones also, Koen, but let's see which one we at least will do. Sven, may I start with you?
Of course. I always like to discover new things beside my daily routine, my daily work. My daily work at the moment is being a sport journalist. So I would go for something else than what I'm busy with on daily practice. So unfortunately, no small cars with guys running around the pits. My pick is the Serpent. Unfortunately, cool.
The Serpent. Then it's up to me, and I was already afraid that it would get to this point, because I do feel a bit bad for what's coming at this point. But you guys know that I'm mostly for story, a bit less for documentary. We have done quite some documentaries lately, and there's already we have Audrey also one coming up. So I want some story, and then I find the story of the Serpent sounds interesting to me. I have the feeling, Koen, you're super enthusiastic about the Drive to Survive, so that's why I feel a little bit bad about this.
I will watch both anyways, it doesn't matter.
Exactly. So maybe
I want to watch the Serpent also, so yeah.
Exactly. Okay. So then maybe you can get it back at the Drive to Survive also at this channel later. Let's see. Yeah, but the one that I would like to discuss at least with the 3 of us is then the Serpent. Then the last one will come from me. I will now come with my first, what I think is worth watching in March.
A darkness has come to London. Something moves through the streets like the shadow of a nightmare.
What I think might be very well worth watching in this month is the British crime drama The Irregulars. We already reacted to the teaser trailer on our channel, so you can also watch that one if you haven't seen it yet. Why do I think this is worth your time? Because the series adds, for as far as I know, for the first time a supernatural twist to the story of Sherlock Holmes. Creator Tom Bidwell based the series on the stories of the Baker Street Irregulars, who appear in 3 Sherlock Holmes stories written by Arthur Conan Doyle. In these books, the boys are street boys who are employed by Holmes as intelligence agents, but as said, Bidwell adds some twists to this story. The on-screen version of the Irregulars is led by a young female leader fighting to save her younger sister. This was a conscious choice, knowing that Holmes and the Irregulars stories are usually male-dominated. And Bidwell stated, "We set out with that intention. Why can't they go into what is predominantly a man's world and kick a bit of ass?" The creator also made changes to the tone of the show in an effort to make it more modern. He said, "I wanted to stay away from things that are classic period Victorian. I wanted to make it feel exciting and scary and very, very fresh, so these characters are very accessible to a modern audience." They have problems that we have, they don't speak in a period way. The biggest change was the supernatural element, and he had to add for this. The supernatural element brings a kind of Victorian horror show that's very different to what you'd expect in Sherlock Holmes novels. So those are all quite interesting things put into the mix that I think make it worth watching. So what is this series actually about? Well, the synopsis reads, set in Victorian London, the Irregulars follows a gang of troubled, diligent teens who are manipulated into solving crimes for the sinister Dr. Watson and his mysterious business partner. As the crimes take on a horrifying supernatural edge and a dark power emerges, it'll be up to the Irregulars to come together to save London, each other, and potentially the entire world. Who is involved in the Irregulars? There are a couple of known and a couple of upcoming actors in the show. The sinister Dr. Watson is played by Royce Pearson, who starred in The Witcher. Sherlock Holmes is being portrayed by Henry Lloyd Hughes, who starred in Killing Eve. The lead of the Irregulars, and as it seems the lead star also of this series, is Thedea Graham, who plays the role of B. And Thedea Graham doesn't have a long acting resume yet, but can also be seen in the Netflix series The Letter for the King. As said, the series is created by Tom Bidwell, who was also the writer of the Netflix limited series Watership Down. Bidwell called this show his dream project, stating that he began crafting the central idea for the series a long time ago. He said, that idea stayed with me for like a decade at least, until it developed in my mind. Maybe I've been kind of training my whole career to write the Irregulars, and now I finally made it. So when does the Irregulars premiere? The Irregulars Season 1 will premiere on Netflix March 26, 2021 and will consist of 8 one-hour episodes. That is all we know so far about the Irregulars. I will definitely watch this series. Are you with me?
You know nothing of what it is to be afraid.
Sven, this is the first time you heard about it, I think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a typical bus pick, I would say, with this sci-fi horror influences.
Yeah, exactly.
This supernatural
stuff. Elements. Definitely, definitely. So yeah, that's the first thing I want to add to the mix. I think it's interesting that the creator doesn't have a big resume yet. He has the series Watership Down, which is a very famous, I think, book from the past, but I never seen this series on Netflix. I think it also got quite good reviews, and he was the writer of that.
Watership Down sounds like a movie with the Scottish actor. What's his name? Jared Butler, you know?
No, Watership Down is
White House Down.
About rabbits, actually.
Oh, really? Oh, that's cool. Okay.
Yeah.
Ah, wow, yeah. I know it.
Exactly.
I've seen it several times. It's iconic animation.
Yes.
2D animation, yeah.
And he made for Netflix, he made a new version of that, apparently, which I haven't seen yet. I will now select the second one, and then you may pick which one you want to see with me in March.
Que os quede bien claro que si estáis aquí dentro, es porque nadie os quiere ir fuera. Lo cierto es que la sociedad, y también vuestras familias, han dejado de creer en vosotros.
The Spanish Amazon Prime series The Boarding School Las Cumbres, or El Internado Las Cumbres. I think it might be very well worth watching this month if you haven't seen it already, because it's already out for a little bit. But why do I think it's worth watching? Las Cumbres is described as a captivating coming-of-age series with dark mysteries waiting to be uncovered. The series is a reboot of the original series El Internado Laguna Negra, which ran for 6 seasons until 2010 and which was an international success with a huge fan base. And this series also launched a new generation of actors, including Ana de Armas. This new series is set in a completely different school with different characters, but with a similar concept. To tie it with the original series, there is apparently a special nod in the first episode, so watch out for that one. So what is this story actually about? Las Cumbres follows a group of students who have been placed into a special boarding school for rebellious and troubled teenagers. The school, located in an ancient monastery in a secluded area on top of a mountain, imposes strict and severe discipline. The forest that surrounds the school is home to a lot of mythological creatures and faceless monsters that will be on the lookout for any students that stray too far from the boarding school. So who is involved in the series? The series follows in particular 4 students. Amaya is played by Asia Ortega, Manu is played by Carlos Alceda, Paul is played by Albert Salazar, and Ines is played by Claudia Riera. The show is created by Laura Beloso and Asie Andueza, who were also the writers of the original series, and it's directed also by Laura Beloso and Danny Rovira van Boekholt. When will it be released? Well, the boarding school Las Cumbres season 1 can already be seen on Amazon Prime Video since February 20th. And the second season is already in pre-production and can be expected to drop in 2022. So the boarding school Las Cumbres is a series that I will watch in March. Will you watch with me?
Can you still choose things from other people or not?
you want to add Drive to Survive to the mix again?
Especially with sweat scenes, yeah.
I found it not an easy pick, I would say.
They're a bit in the same category, I think.
But I do have a preference, if I may kick off, for the boarding school.
The boarding school, and why?
Really? Oh, I didn't expect that.
Why would you have a preference for that one?
Yeah.
Spanish. Like something I watch not that often, but I think there's a lot of productions coming from Spain in recent years. So I think they have a really, quite a particular style of making movies and series.
High quality also?
Yeah, and I don't know, I think I'm more... When you use supernatural elements and you put them in a more, vulnerable or more realistic situation, I think the combination is for me then more effective or triggering than when it comes to a story like Sherlock Holmes, more like police investigative, which we have seen many series about. But yeah, it's just it's making a decision on a really close balance. But that would be then, I've seen so many police series already, then I'll go with something else.
Yeah. Well, I have to say, I also found it interesting that it's Spanish, though I think from Spain there's nowadays a lot of crime productions also coming, like a bit heist crime, like Casa de Papel, and you get now Sky Rojo, and I'm not sure if those always appeal to me, and this is something a bit different coming from Spain, what I'm not used to yet, so that's why it intrigued me a bit, and why I put it into my selection for March. Oh. But okay, for you it's that one. Koen, which one would you select?
The Irregulars.
The Irregulars?
So you have
I like Sherlock Holmes, so yeah. I like a science fiction switch, so yeah.
Well, that's what because I have to decide it now, of course, and that's what I also really like about
your face turn of shit. Yeah. I have to decide.
I do find it difficult. I have to say, it's sometimes easier when a decision is being made for you.
Yeah.
because I think I will watch them. Yeah. I think I watch them both, but it's also about which one would I like to discuss with you guys, of course. And I like the Irregulars. I like about that one. I really love Sherlock Holmes. I always loved Sherlock Holmes, the story of Sherlock Holmes and Watson. And I like, you guys know that I like supernatural stories, and I like that they add this twist to that. So that interests me a lot about that one. Las Cumbres, I already saw a trailer of this series, and it also seemed very interesting to me. Though it seemed interesting to me. But
the trailer for me was a bit like,
okay,
not sure.
The only thing I'm a bit afraid with Las Cumbres is that it might be a bit too teenage audience aimed.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, well, I haven't seen any trailers, guys, so that makes it also more difficult. I just have to listen to your stories. I know afterwards we cut in the trailers for the viewers, for the people watching, but. Maybe we can watch the trailers and then I decide.
No, we're not gonna watch the trailers. We're gonna keep it on this at this. I'm just gonna make the decision here, and it's now 1-1. So let me make it. I saw the trailers, and by that, I in the end make the choice for the Irregulars.
Yeah.
Because I think it's also because it's coming new, so that's also something interesting, and it's. Close call, but I go for the Irregulars. So that completes our picks for March. These series we will definitely look into with the three of us, and we will make a to watch or not to watch video about these later. Maybe if we find the time, besides of course our normal jobs and the things, to also dig into the other ones. We won't of course leave that. Yeah, guys, that's it, I guess.
Yeah.
Anything to add to the mix?
Up to the next one.
Up to the next one, right? Up to the next one. Only thing I want to know from the people watching is like, what are the things that you are most looking forward to in March, but maybe also on April? Maybe you already want to give us some suggestions what to watch in April.
Yeah, did we miss something big or nice? Or,
yeah, exactly. Let us know what you are most excited for in March and the upcoming months, and we can take this discussion a bit further over there. Don't forget to subscribe if you're not subscribed yet, of course, and you want to stay updated on all these topics, but also other topics that are coming. And give us a like if you liked it. Then I will say now from Sweden, hej då.
Bye bye.